Every story we explore today reminds us that behind every name, every achievement, and every moment of recognition stands a life shaped by struggle, ambition, unexpected turns, and quiet victories. These are the stories of people who influenced their fields in ways both visible and unseen, individuals whose work left traces that continue to resonate long after the spotlight fades. By looking closer at their lives, we gain a clearer understanding not only of who they were but of how their choices and experiences shaped the world around them. This journey is not just about remembering what they accomplished, but about rediscovering the human depth, the emotion, and the meaning inside each chapter of their life. Rebecca and Heineman was one of the true pioneers of the video game industry, a figure whose life embodied innovation, resilience, and a profound love for technology. Born in 1963 in Whittier, California, she grew up during the earliest era of home computing, when video games were still considered a novelty rather than a global cultural force. Even as a child, she demonstrated an intense curiosity for how things worked. While other kids were simply fascinated by the flashing lights of arcade cabinets, Rebecca wanted to understand the circuitry behind them. That mindset would shape everything she would eventually accomplish. She was never content to just consume technology. She wanted to master it, shape it, and push it to new places. Her relationship with gaming began in full when she received an Atari 2600. At a time when game cartridges were expensive and hard for her family to afford, she developed a clever workaround. Instead of buying many games, she taught herself how to copy them. She learned to disassemble code, crack protection, and rebuild binaries. Though she did not yet know it, she was already laying the groundwork for a career as one of the most skilled and inventive game programmers of her generation. Her early technical experiments weren't driven by rebellion, they were driven by curiosity, passion, and a pure desire to understand systems from the inside out. Her rise to national prominence began almost by accident. In 1980, she decided to enter a tournament for a game she enjoyed, Space Invaders. She had no idea that she would go on to win the entire event and become the first officially recognized United States video game champion. She was only 16 years old, standing on a stage in New York, proving to the world that games were not just toys, but competitions requiring skill, intelligence, and strategy. That win was more than just a personal achievement. It marked the beginning of her lifelong journey into game development. From there, Rebecca began writing articles for gaming magazines, offering insight into game mechanics and strategy. Her writing demonstrated a deep understanding of how games were built, and this soon led to opportunities in the industry. She received a job offer from Avalon Hill, a company better known for board games but trying to expand into software. She moved across the country, leaving school early because she already knew exactly what she wanted to do. At Avalon Hill, she wrote technical manuals, learned multiple programming languages, and built early engines from scratch. Her first full game, London Blitz, showcased not only her technical skill but also her ability to transform complex systems into engaging play experiences. When her employer dissolved, she co-founded Interplay Productions in 1983. It was a tiny, ambitious company run by people who loved games and believed in the future of interactive entertainment. For more than a decade, Rebecca was one of the studio's strongest pillars. She designed and programmed key titles and became known for her ability to solve difficult technical problems that others could not. She contributed to The Bard's Tale 3, Dragon Wars, Battle Chess, and many ports that required extraordinary precision and patience. During those years, she watched Interplay grow from a handful of friends into a major force in gaming, eventually employing hundreds of people. Her work ethic, calm personality, and encyclopedic knowledge of hardware made her an essential part of the team. Despite her success, she eventually chose to leave Interplay, not because she was tired of games, but because the company had grown so large that she missed being directly involved with the code. She longed for the hands-on work she had enjoyed in the early days. So she founded Logicware, where she served as CTO and lead programmer. She took on projects that required deep technical expertise, ports to obscure systems, engines built from scratch, and projects with tight deadlines that others would avoid. Later, she founded Contraband Entertainment, once again taking a leadership role but never distancing herself from the technical core of development. Whether she was running a studio or working freelance, she remained remarkably consistent in her values. She believed in doing things right, understanding machines deeply, and treating colleagues with kindness. Rebecca's technical skill was matched only by her passion for preservation. She understood better than most how easily digital history can be lost. She became a tireless archivist, gathering source code, documenting old systems, and reconstructing files that would otherwise have vanished. She preserved early versions of beloved games, saved projects from being erased, and ensured that the legacy of the early gaming era would survive long after the original hardware failed. Her work in preservation was an act of respect for the craft, for the developers who came before her, and for the history of gaming itself. Her personal journey was also one of strength and courage. In adulthood, she came out as transgender, choosing to live as her true self despite the challenges she knew she would face. The gaming and tech industries were not always welcoming spaces at the time, but Rebecca's honesty and resilience changed that. She became a soft-spoken but powerful advocate for LGBTQ+ representation, offering support and encouragement to younger developers struggling with identity. She joined advocacy boards, mentored countless individuals, and used her visibility to challenge norms in an industry where very few trans women had ever risen to leadership positions. Her later career included co-founding Old Skule, working alongside her wife and other veteran developers. This company allowed her to return once again to small, collaborative team environments where creativity thrived. Whether she was working on new games or restoring old ones, Rebecca approached every project with passion, patience, and a craftsman's pride. She never stopped experimenting, learning, and teaching. In her final year, Rebecca received a medical diagnosis that would eventually take her life. She faced her illness with the same honesty she brought to everything else, sharing her struggles openly with her community. Even as treatments weakened her, she continued writing, mentoring, and preserving source code. She spent her remaining time doing what she loved, building and protecting the digital worlds that had defined her life. Rebecca Heineman passed away at 62, leaving behind an enormous legacy. She was more than a champion, more than a programmer, more than a studio founder. She was a mentor, an archivist, an advocate, and a symbol of resilience. Her story is one of a person who refused to let limitations define her, who pushed boundaries in technology, identity, and creativity. She shaped the history of video games across more than 4 decades, influencing players, developers, and entire generations of creators who grew up playing the very titles she helped build. Her legacy endures in every preserved source file, in every game she touched, and in every developer she inspired. Rebecca proved that talent, perseverance, and authenticity can change an entire industry. She showed that the worlds we build, whether in code or in life, can outlast us, carrying our passion forward into the future. She will be remembered as a visionary, a pioneer, and a deeply beloved figure whose contributions will echo for decades to come. The story of the Kessler Twins unfolds like a long, evolving performance in which every chapter reflects their shared intuition, their unbreakable partnership, and their relentless dedication to art as a way of living rather than a profession. Even from their earliest days, those around them sensed that the twins existed in a uniquely synchronized world. Born only minutes apart, they grew up mirroring each other's curiosity, absorbing each other's expressions, completing each other's thoughts, and transforming the simple act of growing up into an ongoing creative dialogue. Their family environment nurtured this natural unity. Their parents encouraged exploration, kept the home filled with music, art supplies, and books, and never tried to separate the twins into distinct paths. Instead, they embraced the unusual synergy the girls shared, reinforcing the idea that two minds working together could become something rare and powerful. Throughout childhood, the twins were inseparable not out of dependency but out of mutual inspiration. If one discovered a new song, the other immediately tried to choreograph a movement to match it. If one sketched a figure, the other tried to turn it into a storyboard for a short film they might someday create. Their creativity felt like a constantly shifting conversation that needed no word. Teachers often commented that the twins were able to intuit what the other was planning without any visible cue, whether they were working on school projects, performing in assemblies, or experimenting in art classes. They grew to understand that their greatest strength lay not in being identical but in being complementary, two parts of a creative engine that only fully activated when they worked side by side. As teenagers, this instinctive collaboration blossomed into a more structured artistic identity. The Kessler Twins began spending hours each day exploring the intersection of movement and visual language. They choreographed their own routines, studied different dance traditions, experimented with film editing software, and dove into early digital animation tools. They produced mini performances filmed on old cameras, using whatever light sources, props, and backdrops they could create themselves. These early projects, though technically rough, were emotionally intense and visually inventive. They were filled with mirrored motion, overlapping shadows, layered sounds, and subtle narratives about connection, individuality, and the tension between them. Even then, their work was unmistakably theirs, distinct, bold, and deeply expressive. College became a turning point, not because it changed who they were but because it gave them space to refine their ideas. They immersed themselves in dance theory, experimental filmmaking, production design, performance studies, digital storytelling, and interdisciplinary arts. Surrounded by other creatives, the twins pushed themselves harder than ever. They collaborated with musicians, actors, painters, and writers, gaining a deeper understanding of how different art forms could interact. Their performances grew more polished, their visual style more defined, their storytelling more emotionally layered. Faculty members soon realized that the twins were not simply students but emerging voices who already possessed a cohesive artistic philosophy, one grounded in unity, exploration, vulnerability, and authenticity. Their public breakthrough came not through a single moment but through the gradual rise of their online presence. They began sharing short performance films, each crafted with meticulous care. These pieces blended abstract movement, symbolic imagery, rapid transitions, and subtle emotional cues, creating a style that felt almost hypnotic. The internet responded immediately. Their videos were shared across platforms, accumulating millions of views and attracting the attention of artistic communities, cultural commentators, festival organizers, and major brands. People were drawn not only to the twins' technical skill but to the emotional electricity that surged between them. Their communication seemed effortless, their movements perfectly synchronized without appearing rehearsed, their storytelling intimate yet universal. As opportunities multiplied, the twins remained intentional in choosing which paths to follow. They refused to let commercial demands dilute their vision. Whenever they collaborated with companies or choreographers, they insisted on creative autonomy, shaping the visual direction, camera work, editing style, and thematic element. Many collaborators later described working with the twins as stepping into a world where time moved differently, where ideas emerged rapidly, where the two of them could debate, refine, and finalize concepts in minutes, and where every detail mattered. The twins' high standards were never about perfection but about honesty. They believed that art must feel alive and emotionally truthful, or it was not worth creating. At the same time, the Kessler Twins began to explore larger thematic landscape. Their work delved into questions of identity formation, emotional symmetry, the boundaries between self and other, the experience of being seen versus being understood, and the complexities of navigating ambition as a shared journey. They used their twinness not as a gimmick, but as a lens through which universal themes could be examined more sharply. Their performances, whether filmed or live, often left audiences contemplating the invisible bonds between people, the nature of intimacy, and the ways in which we construct our sense of self. Beyond their artistic output, the twins became powerful symbols for young creatives who felt trapped between traditional expectations and their own unconventional visions. They began teaching workshops, speaking at schools and conferences, and investing time in mentorship programs. Their message resonated deeply: that artistic identity grows through experimentation, that failure is not a setback but a necessary part of the process, and that collaboration, when rooted in trust and respect, can amplify creativity far beyond what individuals can achieve alone. As their careers progressed, the twins continued expanding into new forms. They explored long-form narrative storytelling, writing and directing projects that brought their sensibilities into cinematic context. They developed immersive installations combining dance, projection, and interactive element. They began collaborating with musicians on visual albums, with theaters on experimental productions, and with digital innovators on augmented reality experiences. Each new venture demonstrated their willingness to evolve, to reinvent themselves, and to push the boundaries of what twin-led artistry could look like. Despite their growing fame, the Kessler Twins maintained a grounded perspective. They remained connected to their hometown, their family, and the foundational values that shaped their earliest creative impulses. They openly discussed the challenges that came with their unique dynamic: the pressure to always match each other's pace, the struggle to maintain individual identity within a shared brand, and the emotional complexity of growing together while also growing apart as adults. Yet they viewed these challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities to deepen their understanding of themselves and their partnership. Today, the Kessler Twins stand as influential forces in contemporary performance and visual art. Their work has reached across platforms and disciplines, touching audiences not just through stunning visuals but through the emotional truth at the core of everything they create. They have become examples of what creative unity can achieve when nurtured with persistence, imagination, and sincerity. Their journey is far from over. If anything, they continue to evolve, adapting to new technologies, new artistic movements, and new cultural landscapes with the same curiosity that drove them as children. Their legacy, already significant, continues to grow with each project they release, each person they inspire, and each boundary they dare to challenge. Gérard Hausser was a French footballer whose quiet determination and reliable presence on the field made him a respected figure in European soccer during the 1960s. Born in Strasbourg in 1939, he grew up in a region where football was woven into everyday life, and from a young age, he showed both discipline and natural instinct for the game. Hausser played primarily as a defender, but what set him apart was the combination of elegance and toughness. He was the kind of player who could stop an attack with a perfectly timed tackle and then immediately launch a counterplay with calm precision. His professional career took shape at RC Strasbourg, where he became a cornerstone of the team. Supporters admired him not just for his defensive skills but for his leadership, resilience, and the sense of stability he brought to the squad. Over time, he developed a reputation for being a dependable and intelligent footballer, someone who understood the rhythm of the match and made the right decisions under pressure. Hausser also earned recognition on the international stage. He represented France in major competitions, contributing to the national team during a transformative era in French football. His performances were marked by consistency rather than flash, and his teammates valued him as a player who always put collective success above personal attention. After retiring from the game, he remained connected to the sport, remembered fondly by fans and peers as a figure of humility and professionalism. Gérard Hausser's legacy lives on as an example of an athlete who didn't need the spotlight to make an impact. His dedication, discipline, and steady presence continue to symbolize the timeless virtues of the game. And as we reach the end of this story, we are reminded that legacy is never about a single moment, but about the countless moments that come together to define a life. The people we've talked about today may no longer be with us, but the impact they left behind continues to live in memories, in the work they created, and in the lives they touched. Their stories remind us that every life, no matter how celebrated or humble, carries a unique voice worth hearing. Thank you for joining this journey, for listening, and for keeping their stories alive in the way only remembrance can.